So when it comes to email marketing, we know that we have flows and campaigns. These are the types of emails, the two different types of emails that our recipients can get. Flows are the automated touch points that are going to be based on, that subscriber's behaviors. And campaigns are going to be that most of our engaged people get, or, whoever you're sending to. These are the manual emails that we're sending. This flow chart sort of depicts the journey of a typical recipient as they come in as cold traffic, and gives the sort of outlines the importance of having both the campaigns and the flows. So on the right here, you can see this is a store that neglects flows. They'll have traffic that comes in top of funnel. X percentage of that traffic will convert straight away, probably 2 to 3%. And then whoever ends up on the email list, however, maybe they have a pop-up form, will then get weekly campaigns and hope that they also lead to purchases. You will make a bit of money through your email marketing this way, sure. But on the left here shows the flow chart, which is obviously a lot more complex. That is a store that has every single flow in place. So we have our pop-up form, they go onto our email list, they have all the flows, the welcome flow, pre-purchase flows like site abandon, browse abandon, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, which all are going to contribute to an increase in purchases. And then once they've purchased, they're in the post-purchase flows, which are designed to retain our customers. But what a lot of people neglect with these flows is they're going to be really important, because a lot of the traffic from the campaigns is going to lead people into each step. For example, if your campaign gets someone active on site, they're going to enter the site abandon flow. If your campaign gets someone browsing products, they're going to enter the browse abandonment flow, and then carts and checkouts and so on. So the actions that are taken as a result of your campaigns actually lead people into each step of these flows, which makes it ending up working as a massive ecosystem, which increases sales. So when you see the stores that are attributing 30 to 40% of their email revenue 30 to 40% of their total revenue from email, a lot of the times it's just because they have this massive ecosystem built. Everyone is getting caught up into some sort of web. At the very least, if someone's not in a flow, they're receiving the campaigns, unless they're perpetually unengaged. And then at that point, we're going to put them in some sort of sunset flow, or aim to re-engage them, or clean them from the list. But for most people who are engaged, they're going to be receiving the weekly campaigns. Well, they're going to be coming in as traffic, entering the pop-up form, hopefully entering the email list, because, maybe we get 5 to 10% of people 5 to 10% of traffic filling out the pop-up form. Then they're going to be receiving the campaigns as well as the welcome flow. Once they've finished the welcome flow, if they haven't taken any of these actions, they're still going to be receiving these campaigns designed to re-enroll them into these flows and then end up as a purchase. So you cannot, once you have the flows built, you cannot neglect your campaigns, and you cannot neglect the content that you're putting in your campaigns, because this is going to be vital to keep the flow stimulated and to keep driving revenue. So when it comes to campaigns, how are you going to decide what's going to be the best sort of topics to write about in your campaigns? Well, what I like to do is the 80-20 rule. So you would have heard probably the 80-20 rule. I think it's called the Pareto principle or something, applied to a myriad of things in life. Like the 80-20 rule is, in business, it's more along the lines of 20% of your actions contribute to 80% of the results. 20% of your customers are going to bring 80% of your revenue. 20% of your customers are going to cause 80% of the headaches, so on, so on. So it's kind of like there's the trade-off. So, you want to be focusing on the 20% of customers that are going to bring you 80% of your revenue. But in this circumstance, when it comes to creating campaigns, the 80-20 rule is going to apply to how often we should be providing value versus how often we should be trying to sell to our list directly. So value to sales ratio. So say you're sending X amount of email campaigns, say you're sending 10 email campaigns, you are going to want to be 80% of those are going to want to be value based, and then 20% of those are going to want to be sales based. If everything is sales based, people don't have a reason to open your emails. People who aren't ready to buy aren't going to, they don't have a reason to engage and open your emails. Whereas when you're sending 80% of your campaigns are value based, even people who aren't in the mindset of buying right now have a reason to open your emails. So you want to be splitting your campaigns accordingly. So this is you trying to brainstorm, what sort of content am I going to be sending for my e-commerce store? Think about it in the 10 campaign cycle. 8 of them are going to be value based, 2 of them are going to be sales based. Obviously, there's leniency here. This is not rocket science. If you send 6 value and 4 sales and you're doing really well, that's okay. That works for you. If you're sending 7 value and 3 sales, it's not the end of the world. But you don't want to be sending like 1 value campaign for every 9 sales campaign. And this sort of brings it, this graph over here explains it really well. This very simple, ugly looking graph. So if you have your whole email list only a small percentage of those people are ever going to be ready and willing to buy right now. So if 9 of your emails are trying to sell your products or offering sales or offering discounts, you're only like majority of your emails are appealing to the minority of your list, where the majority of your list still needs to be convinced to buy. And that doesn't mean you're going to jump into your email marketing and be like, well, please buy my products. This is why you should buy my products. It means that you're going to engage them over time and provide value that is going to take them closer to a purchase. Because the whole game of email marketing isn't how can we make more sales now? It's how can we convince the most amount of people that they have a problem and then convince them that we're the solution to our problem. So we're taking people from the needs to be convinced, the overwhelming majority of our email list, into the section where it's like, okay, no, now we're ready and willing to buy. Our 2 sales campaigns and our 8 value campaigns. You might be thinking, how am I going to write 8 value campaigns? I don't have that much stuff to write about. Well, here's some ideas you can do. You can blog posts. Blog posts are going to be great at repurposing content that you've probably already written, because more often than not, a lot of e-commerce stores and a lot of online websites in general, just since the dawn of time, started writing blog posts for SEO purposes, right? So a lot of you who run a store probably already have some sort of selection of blog posts available. Like most people I've dealt with, most clients I've dealt with, most stores I've audited, they have some sort of blog section. It might only have 2 posts, it might have 200 posts. So, but more often than not, right there, you have content that you can utilize straight away. Blog posts are going to be great. When you're doing blog posts, you can either send the blog over campaign, so you actually write the blog out in the email, but make sure this is less than 500 words, and that's going to get the most sort of engagement. And it's going to be a great way to deliver value in a succinct way straight over your email. Let's make that nice and bold. And then, or the other alternative, if you have like a deeper blog post that, dives into a lot of value that is perhaps a bit more longer form, we're going to write, a 50 to 100 word snippet and then send people to website to read the rest of it. So you're only going to write a snippet of the blog post because it's really deep. It requires someone to probably read the whole thing to get, a lot more than 500 words to get the value out of it. You're just going to write a snippet and then have a button that sends people to the website to read the blog, because more often than not, people aren't going to bounce from the website straight away. They're going to read the blog post and they're going to click around, perhaps look at your products. And if you're good and you're writing content that makes sense, you can then find ways to subtly integrate your products into these blog posts. So then people who are reading these blog posts are not only getting value, and if they just want to get value, they can leave, but perhaps you've educated them on something and now they're more ready to buy. And you have a little section there, which is educating people on the on your products and how that sort of intertwines with what you're putting in the blog post, and you're going to have more sales. So there's blog posts. Then you're going to look at your reviews. So reviews are a great way to get campaign ideas. So positive and negative reviews are going to be gold for campaign ideas. How can I lay this out a bit better? Move this over there. We won't talk about the sales campaigns because that's only 20%, as you can see. It's only 20% of our campaign ideas. That's pretty straightforward. Sales campaigns are going to be extremely straightforward. It's just going to be discounts, flash sales, product features, product benefits. This is where you're directly selling the product. So reviews, you want to look at positive and negative. Let's do a post-it note for each. So positive reviews and negative reviews. You're gonna compile what most people are saying about your products, and this doesn't just have to be your reviews. It can be competitors too. So go find what people are saying about the products, whether they have a list of frequently asked questions, something they always bring up, a benefit they're always talking about, something they always hate, and you can use this to address objections, educate, highlight benefits. So this is a great way to find angles that your audience is going to resonate with over email. So for example, if someone in the reviews, if you're selling a sleeping tablet and someone is saying, oh, this, I was remembering my dreams for the first time in 50 years, and you've seen 3 different people say that, well, you're like, that's going to be a great angle to play. You don't necessarily want to just find the most glorious reviews of your product and use that. You want to find the reviews that are the most common, that most people are resonating with, because then when you're sending email campaigns and you're making email content, you can make content that people you can make content on topics that you know people enjoy, because that's the benefits that most people are seeing about your product, if that makes sense. So if only one person is remembering their dreams, but 20 other people talk about how they've been less tired in the morning or less groggy in the morning for the first time ever, you're going to focus on what those 20 people are saying, as that's going to be the majority of your target market here, and the benefits they're resonating with the most, or the benefit that they're enjoying the most from your product. So blog posts, reviews, great idea. FAQs is another one. Actually, let's skip FAQs. Let's go myths. Myths is a great one, like sort of myth/controversy. So say if you're in the fitness industry, there's going to be so much noise. There's going to be, I work with a few clients in the fitness industry. There's always people saying different things about the fitness industry. There's always people with different opinions on what's right, what's wrong, what diet works, what diet doesn't work. You know, should you be vegan? Should you be carnivore? Should you do keto? Should you do intermittent fasting? Whatever. So there's going to be myths and controversy. Here, you're going to have your own opinion and clarify confusion. So a great way to write email campaigns is to clarify confusion in the industry. Talk about something that, you know, people in your niche are going to want to know, whether, you know, it's what type of diet should they be following, how much protein should they actually be eating, you know, if it's sleeping tablets, like when should you take your sleeping tablets, what are the benefits you can do to improve your sleep. So I don't know, address stuff in the industry that is maybe slightly controversial or a lot of people have opinions on, and give your own opinion. It's going to be a great way to sort of also get what your brand stands for out in the world, because a lot of people love aligning with the brand, but also, you know, address a controversy that people might be struggling with in their own lives. So they're going to take immense value away from that email campaign. Last one that I'm going to touch on today is, I don't want this video to go for too long, but is one that I probably enjoy the most. And it's just going to be tangible life tips. Tangible life tips that are to do with your niche. This is a great way to provide value. So remember, the overarching theme here is provide value. You might be watching this video and be like, oh, actually, I know something that my audience would love, and just go for that then, because at the end of the day, you know your audience best. But tangible life tips, so just things that will improve their life. It's very broad, but if you're in fitness, it might be like good workouts they can do, good recipes. If you're in sleep, it could be like, you know, how to get deeper sleep. It could be ingredients that you need, or, you know, grocery lists, ingredients to avoid. What else is there? It could be like, if you're in, I don't know, if you're in education of some sort, you could be like, must read books of 2024. There's tons of ideas here. What's another industry? Pets. You could be like, you know, 3 tips for toilet training your puppy. If you're in, what's another industry? If you're in cameras or audio or some sort of like filmmaking, you know, 3 tips to improve audio quality. As you can see, there's tons of little different campaigns you can go down here depending on what niche you're in, what industry you're in. But these are going to be fantastic ways to provide value in a way that, you know, people are going to want to open your emails. Because remember, we're trying to appeal to these people. They don't currently have a reason to open our emails because they don't want to buy our products. So we need to give them a reason to open our emails and then convince them they have a problem while they're here. It's a bit of propaganda about it. So we're going to come back to here, and out of our 10 campaigns, we're going to have 8 value campaigns. And then when you're making value campaigns, focus on topics like this, you know, blog posts, repurpose your blog posts. That's a great way to cheat your way sort of to having great content already, because you've probably already done the work. Go study some reviews, put spins on positive and negative, understand the themes and the trends in the reviews, and, you know, use that. Myths and controversy. Find some controversial things in your industry, things that maybe confuse people that you can clarify on. That's a double up there. And then tangible life tips, things that will improve people's lives. It's a great way. You can focus on the negative, like, you know, 3 reasons you're not losing weight, and then give them 3 tips on how they can lose weight. How to get deeper sleep, must read books, 3 tips for toilet training your puppy. Apply this to your own niche, and trust me, you have an infinite database of content that you can choose from. Making good quality email content is really easy when you know how to start, and when you know how to, you know, weave it into your niche. And from here, you find ways to subtly integrate your products into these campaigns. It's really easy. You can see for here, like 3 tips for toilet training your puppy. Maybe you have a product that helps with that. 3 tips to improving audio quality. Maybe you sell microphones that are going to have great audio quality. 3 tips to get deeper sleep. Maybe you have, your sleeping tablet helps them get deeper sleeps. Good workouts and recipe. Maybe you sell a recipe book. Grocery list. Maybe you sell, I don't know, another recipe book that requires buying groceries because it's a recipe book. It goes on and on and on. But as long as you're providing 8 value campaigns for every 2 sales campaigns you're providing, or somewhere in that ballpark, you maintain a similar ratio to that, you will engage more people from your email list who are not ready to buy. And over time, you're going to make them problem aware. And then you're going to convince them that you're the solution to their problem. And then along this journey, they're going to come and enter these flows, because from these campaigns, they're probably going to check out your website. They're probably going to check out some products. They're probably going to maybe even add something to cart. Then they enter these flows. So you can see how this benefits the whole ecosystem. Here, you're going for as many clicks as possible just to get people onto your website. You're not trying to sell necessarily. You're just trying to get people to enter these flows. And that's how you can create the email marketing sort of ecosystem, and how you can use this 80-20 rule to make campaigns, to create good campaigns for your own product. Hope this helps. If you like this video, head to my channel, subscribe, head to the description, check out the links, check out our email marketing newsletter. It's going to provide you with the best value multiple times per week. All the best. See you next time.